Much about violent video games, if it makes kids aggressive or not. There, I did. They did research on Canada and California. Those two were the major places where they did the research. They also did a saying saying in Canada they did two research, one if it did and one if it didn't. The one that they did said they would play more hours in violent video games, they become more aggressive later on. The longer you play, the longer you become. The less you play, the less aggressive. The one that showed it was not the violence, it was the difficulty of the game that made you aggressive. So you can play a game that is not violent at all. If it's difficulty, you become more aggressive. Which I actually did that experiment in my house. With my cousin, right here. Some games. Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Halo. Only non-violent game we don't have in our house. Those are all violence. Let me see if I can find the one that's not, which is somewhere in here. The only non-violent game we don't have, it's this one. Which is the only game he plays, and he wants to kill someone after he finishes. So, any game other player he plays this one, which is basically about killing. He feels like nothing happened since he knows it's just a game. So he basically just stays there in the game, doesn't go out with it. On the soccer FIFA, because it's so hard for him to play it, he gets aggressive. After he finishes, he's still mad about it. Takes time to kind of let it go with me, but anyways. Other thing they did was FBI actually did a statistic saying that the crime of young people decreased as video games and for consoles, computer games increased, young violence decreased. So they're saying that it's kind of related to each other. They're saying that it is, or maybe it isn't. They don't know yet. But most likely, they said it was, because as soon as the games became more popular, the violence for young people decreased. And they also show that people who played it know that it's a game. You won't have to mix it with your life. They know it's two different things. One is fantasy, one is reality, so they know which one's which. And also in the back of the games, they also tell you the age. So they're saying that it's not appropriate for little kids to play it. Well, in the game it says the age that it is appropriate for them to play. So it's not the game's fault, it's actually the parents who is not responsible for, how do you say that word? It's not responsible for looking at the game, seeing the age, showing them. They're not allowed to play that game until they're at a certain age because they know their mind is not fully developed to tell the difference between the two. Because my little cousin, he kind of experienced a lot of violent games because of my uncle. So he kind of thinks that's real. But she's sort of in therapy right now because that's the reason they put age on it, to show that it's, how do you call that word? I can't even say it anymore. How do you say it again? Desensitize to violence, which has a little bit to do with it if it's for little kids, because they're not fully developed and they're growing and learning. So they have to know, like, parents have to teach them first before they can play it. Because if they learn that that's fake and it's not real, you can't do it in real life, then it's a whole completely different story. Because if they just play it, they think it's real and they start doing it, developing with it, and then and most people blame it that it's violence, that you see it all the time, that it's gonna become normal. which been researched that it's not, because they know it's fake, they know it's not real, it's not gonna happen. So why is it gonna change it? One of the most violent games in here I have is Gears of War 3, which my mom actually saw me playing it one time, because she never sees me play games. As soon as she came in the door, she took every game I have, because she thought it was so violent. I was trying to explain to her that she thought I was going to start killing people at school or somewhere, because that's all I saw right there, it was killing. Well, after I showed her the research and everything, I told her it was not the games, because every time I play games, I never disobeyed her. Every time she calls me, I go where she tells me to. It's not the game at all. It's just the way people look at it. They see it as violence. They think it has to do with aggression or violence to somebody else. Basically, that's what they think.
Okay, we'll take 3 questions.
So where did you get your research from?
I got it from my uncle, where he actually studies this, because he wants, he's into game designing, so he wants to know if it's, so he actually told me they did the research in Canada and California, so I kind of looked that up and found that.
Okay, so could it not be considered socially deteriorating to have the objects of a game be killing and get positive feedback when something is killed?
Well, there's also about the hunting games, which you kill, and they also like, how do you say it, can you repeat the question again one more time? Second.
Could it not be considered socially deteriorating that the object of the game is to kill and that you get a positive feedback when something gets killed?
No, actually, it's showing you that, you know, it's just a game, so you know it's fake. Eventually you have to do it in the game, but you know in real life you're not going to get nothing out of it, because you know it's just a game. It's like not realistic.
Would you let your kids play games like that growing up?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll be like 5 years old, younger, maybe not. But after that, I'll be with them, they're playing it, I'll be there and telling them that it's not real and all that stuff, because that's what my dad did with me. He never let me play these games until I was 15. I never got my first, I never played a game before that, never. Never had a TV or cell phone. After 15 is when I started it.
Thank you.